All right, hello. It is Thursday, August 13th, 10:44 a.m. and we are doing a live stream. Let's see if it's coming through here. All right, we are good to go. Now I got to figure out what's the best way to share this out to my networks here. I think this is only what, my second or third live stream? I'm not sure. Here we go. All right, there's a link. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out on Twitter, out on Facebook, and we'll get started with some thoughts this morning. Just one moment. Live streaming some thoughts on YouTube. I'm seeing some thoughts on the crypto, on the state of crypto. All right, thanks for bearing with me as I get this set up. One moment here, and we'll get going. All right, tweeted out. There we go. Welcome those who are watching and those who might watch this later. I'm going to do a quick little live stream here, and we're going to switch over. There we go. I just want to talk about a couple different things that I was thinking about, just tweets and Facebook posts and different things like that in the space, and thought you might find it interesting. We'll see. So this is hilarious if you haven't seen this yet. The European Central Bank started tweeting about how they can help young people, and holy moly, the replies are just hilarious. So many people talking about buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, get involved in Bitcoin, and I just think that's awesome. It's just so funny. This one in particular I thought was pretty good, showing where the central banks fit in the system. I did a talk back in 2013 about Bitcoin being more disruptive than the internet, and I still believe that today. So I'm super excited to see people starting to wake up. They're basically starting to recognize that the fiat global financial system is basically a Ponzi scheme scam, and those who get the money early basically dominate everyone else. So all these Bitcoin replies to the central bankers, I just absolutely love. So if you ever get a chance to check that out, definitely check it out. Got to give a shout out to FIO. Of course, I've been working on this for the last year and a half with an amazing team. December, they asked me to step up as the managing director for the foundation, and this great report that Finance Labs and Finance Research team put together, I'm just really happy about. A lot of work went into this, explaining what FIO is, what the idea behind it is. And so if you hadn't seen that, go ahead and check it out. Really good update from the Finance Research team. So very, very happy to see this go live just last night, which is very cool. Also related to that, BitHum just opened up trading this morning. So this is now the third major exchange that we have. So we now have Binance, BitHum, and BitMax. And I'm just, again, really excited about that. They have a trading contest going on. And I want to highlight, too, an important aspect here, that although I'm not going to be shilling, I'm going to be talking about a lot of tokens in this video, and it's not financial advice, obviously, so please don't take it as such. But it is important to understand from a governance standpoint in a DPoS system how the value of the token, and really in proof of work as well, the value of the token is what secures the network. So even though we're not going to be talking about it as far as like financial advice or anything like that, it is important to at least acknowledge the liquidity of the token, how you can trade and purchase the token, how you can get access to the token, because the value of that token as the reward given out to the block producers and the validators is what secures the network. If you don't have a secure network, you have a worthless blockchain. So that's why, even though I'm all about the fundamentals, I'm still going to be talking about tokens, and the price of the tokens matters because that determines how valuable the security is of the network. So it's something to keep in mind. And so I'm just very excited to see the community getting excited about FIO, seeing lots of really cool stuff about that. Also wanted to highlight updates in HIVE. As you know, I've been a witness and block producer on HIVE. I've been so focused on FIO lately that I'm kind of deciding whether or not I want to continue in that role. I think there's some amazing block producers and witnesses on HIVE. I don't think managing servers is something I'm excited about, for example. So I think others will do a better job. Now, I'll always remain an advocate for HIVE, remain involved in the community. But whether or not I continue running my witness node, I think is kind of up for grabs as far as my thoughts on that. So let me know what you think. I only started my witness node on HIVE because a lot of the community asked me to early on. They said, we really want your voice in the community. We want you participating in the governance. So I've been a backup witness for a while, and I've been thinking about whether or not I want to continue. So you let me know what you think about that. For now, I'll keep running the server. But anyway, I just want to highlight how much I appreciate block trades and the group of developers that are continuing to work on Hive and do some really great work. It's very exciting to see the development of Hive continue even without kind of the centralized entity of Steemit. So super stoked to see that. It's pretty awesome. The other topic I wanted to get into, and maybe I should check in here with my live stream here. Okay, yeah, it's still working. Cool. The other topic I wanted to get into was just, oh my gosh, proof of work fees, Ethereum fees right now. It's just out of control. I tried to send some Ethereum from Coinbase Commerce yesterday, and it's like, hey, yeah, it's going to take over an hour. And I'm like, man, I thought Ethereum was supposed to be faster than Bitcoin. Like, what the heck is going on? That's ridiculous. So kind of frustrated to see that this is still an issue. And it's one of those things that, that same transaction is still pending even now, like a day later. This is a problem, and when you go into the gas system and you see things like this, that's a problem. It's just not functional, and I replied to this tweet this morning from Gorgon Crypto talking about like waiting for a Bitcoin transaction, waiting for Ethereum transaction. It's frustrating, it shouldn't take this long. It shouldn't cost this much. And I'm actually a little bit concerned when it comes to proof of work in that we have these out of alignment incentives. Previously it was like you've got the block producers in a proof of work system, the miners, who are sitting there saying, we'd love high fees, man. High fees is, more revenue for us, right? But then that's contrasted with the interests of the token holders who want to have utility. They want to be able to use the token on a day-to-day basis very effectively. And if the fees are too high, they'll eventually revolt, essentially, and leave and go to another chain. That is kind of the ongoing tension between the token holders and the miners in a proof of work system. The challenge with Ethereum and what it has going on now is they have tokens that represent the gas fees. So you can actually speculate as a token holder on high gas fees. And this is what we're seeing. I won't pull up a bunch of charts, but there's all these tokens that have just gone ridiculously high in value that represent kind of pre-purchased gas. So we have this fundamental breakage now between this game theory dynamic between the miners and the token holders. Now there's a situation where the token holder speculators also want high gas fees in some cases if they're the holder of these tokens. So if these special gas tokens, so if that's the case, this might be a downward death spiral to proof of work, specifically on Ethereum, that allows for these gas tokens. So it's something to keep in mind, and it's something that is seriously concerning. You can run your Ethereum contracts on EOS, for example, as that EVM was just set up. There are other ETH 2.0 solutions coming out. Casper Labs is working on stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming, and if the Ethereum community doesn't come together to resolve this, it's going to be bad. I think again, it all comes back to game theory dynamics. If you have out of alignment incentives and you don't have a situation where the miners are going to be held accountable for the fees that they're demanding, you're going to have a problem. So I wanted to highlight too, as I did in this reply, some other alternatives. And again, I'm going to be talking about tokens that I own, full disclosure. I own them because I support the project, and I think that they are providing value from a utility standpoint. I'm into fundamentals of projects. So I would say, check out NANO. I've been interested in this back when it was Raya blocks. It's not even a blockchain. It's actually a directed acyclical graph. It's DAG technology. And it's a mechanism where, in a very interesting way, you can basically transfer anything instantly without having to pay any fees at all. And it's really interesting because you have to do just a little bit of proof of work on your own client in order to receive funds. So it's a really interesting kind of model that flips everything on its head. Now, I don't fully understand the full governance of how the individual nodes vote and how they could actually upgrade the protocol going forward. I haven't yet run my own Nano node, but I want to get into that. Apparently there's a Docker to do it pretty easily. So it's something I'm interested in. If you're part of the Nano community, I would love for you to take a look at FIO and actually get a Nano supported wallet or a FIO supported wallet that has Nano in it. That would be awesome. I'd love to see FIO and Nano working together through these great wallets. I know Garda supports Nano, but that's only on their mobile right now. I think as far as their desktop supports FIO, but their mobile doesn't yet. So anyway, these things are getting worked out. If you're involved in building wallets for Nano, definitely check out FIO and see if that's something you want to integrate. I think it can make Nano even better. And of course, there's Hive. With HiveOnboard.com and other websites like that, you can get onboarded to Hive a lot easier than you could before. And Hive, I think, even just as a currency, is really amazing. I mean, 3-second block times. no fees. You have these resource credits that as long as you have a bit of HIVE staked, you never have to worry about fees. You never have to worry about delayed transactions. So this is just one of those, you guys know, I've been talking about Steem and HIVE for many, many years. And HIVE is an example of good governance, basically. When Steem was attacked by a centralized entity and the tokens were centralized, the community responded. I've got plenty of videos and talks about that if you want to dive in deeper. But definitely check out HIVE as a really interesting approach to a great currency. It's not going to be held back by these problems we're seeing with Ethereum. And of course, there's EOS. I want to talk about EOS as well. Oh, wait. There's not a single person talking about EOS as currency. This is really frustrating to me. This has been an ongoing thing. I worked for many months to try to get the idea of an EOS foundation promoted. It's something that Brock Pierce spearheaded and asked me to participate in. And we had a lot of discussions at different conferences. I've been talking about it and working on it for a long time. A lot of internal discussions with the community, some discussions with Block One. But ultimately, it's kind of on hold as far as the EOS Foundation goes. A community-driven entity that can promote EOS itself as a cryptocurrency. Block One can't do that for certain legal reasons, and that's pretty frustrating. So this is just my call out again to block producers in EOS, community members in EOS. We need a central place to talk about EOS as a currency. It's an amazing cryptocurrency, incredible, and there just isn't really people talking about that. They're talking about the apps and what you can build on it, and that's all great too. But just as a currency, it's actually really powerful and has a lot to say. Same with HIVE. I'm very excited about HIVE. But when it comes to HIVE, a lot of people think of HIVE as just a place you blog, and it is. It's an amazing place you blog. And not just a place you blog, but, there's a whole bunch of amazing projects on HIVE. There's games, there's, different applications and stuff. But one of the things that I think is kind of holding back HIVE a little bit, even as a blogging platform, is if I post this, post on philosophy a few hours ago, I get some comments and it's fun. There's a lot of interaction there, and I get rewards, which is amazing. Like, holy moly, I can make money for blogging. That's awesome. But on the flip side, if I post it over on Facebook, which is where my friends are, you can see I get a lot more interaction. I get a lot more comments. I get a lot of, the philosophy discussion continues and in a really interesting ways, without that level of interaction on HIVE, it's just less social. It's not as interesting. And so I've been, for years trying to get people, my friends in particular, to move over to HIVE. And for whatever reason, they want to stay on Twitter. They want to stay on Facebook. They want to, maybe they'll try it out for a little bit and then they just come back to what they know. And I think the only way we're going to resolve this is to just create more reasons for our little groups of people to show up on HIVE. And maybe we can do that through communities, starting communities on HIVE. Maybe you can get all your friends to say, hey, I'll give you $5-10 if you come join this little community, and start with communities and then have conversations that you would have normally had on Facebook, have them on HIVE. I don't know. But this is something I want to put out there, that it's not just the money. I mean, these monetary rewards are not normal. Most people are not going to make anything unless they, have friends with large amounts of HIVE that'll vote for them, or they've been on the platform for a long time. But even with this, it's not enough incentive for people to see that and go, oh man, that's super cool. I want to start being on HIVE. Maybe they'll try it for a little bit, but they don't get the social interaction like you see on these centralized platforms. They're just not as interested, and that's just the reality of it. The other thing I want to mention here too is a post I put out a couple days ago about doing my own podcast. If you get a chance, maybe read through that. I want to thank everyone for such encouraging comments. Man, it was awesome. So many great comments from people saying, yeah, you should do this. And really the only thing that's kind of holding me back is that I don't have as much interest in the whole cult of personality stuff. I don't want people to be like, what's Luke thinking today? What's Luke all about? It's like, Luke is irrelevant. I'm just one more voice in an already loud sea of voices. But what I am interested in is amazing conversations. So if I was to do something, it would probably be closer to the Joe Rogan style, where I just have conversations with friends of mine and I record them. And if they're interesting to people, then they'll get value out of them. And if they're not, oh well. But I think I could get value out of it personally, just as an excuse to connect more with my friends and have amazing conversations. So I may do it, I may not. I'm kind of toying with the idea. Again, give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you if you think I should do this. It wouldn't be crypto only. It would be larger conversations about things I'm passionate about. And that would include consciousness and philosophy and morality and ethics, and of course game theory, dynamics and economics and all this, voluntarism, anarchy, governance. These are topics I'm passionate about, things that I think matter in the world. So that's kind of what I would be talking about. And of course, blockchain and cryptocurrency are a big part of all of that. So that's something I would consider. And then before we wrap up this stream, the last thing I want to talk about is YAM. Holy moly, YAM. If you guys haven't seen the DeFi news this morning and just kind of what's been going on in the DeFi space, DeFi stands for decentralized finance. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, is FIO DeFi? Is this DeFi? Is that DeFi? And it's kind of a silly question in my mind because Bitcoin is DeFi. Everything that is decentralized finance. I mean, Bitcoin literally allows you to be your own bank. You don't need a centralized entity to run all the aspects of a bank with Bitcoin and many second layer solutions on Bitcoin. So DeFi, I still look at it as kind of well defined as just a full solution in terms of lending, borrowing, all these different mechanisms that you'd get from a bank in a traditional financial system. So that's what DeFi is. But some of these DeFi projects are just out of control. I did a post, I don't know, a week or two ago about, talking about Vigor, which I actually am kind of excited about because they understood the importance of governance when they built the DeFi platform. And they've been working on it for a couple of years now. And the idea that DeFi without any governance is scary. I mean, you're going to get what we saw here, market cap going to zero in 35 minutes, $500 million locked up, and just because of a contract bug. And I've mentioned this as well this morning. 2 years ago, Michael Yates did this great post on preventing the DAO. And it was kind of a breakdown of like what happened with the Ethereum DAO hack and like what did that look like and how did that, what can we learn from that? He walked through, what the hack was. It was a lot of money, $150 million in Ethereum tokens that were basically locked up and lost. Hackers were able to come in. Well, yeah, this is different than the parity hack, which was a lockup issue. This one, actually, people lost funds. And so he talks through about how EOS.io, and again, this was written 2 years ago. This is back in February 2019, more than 2 years ago, 2.5, or actually a year and a half ago. And so it's like, he talks about what happened and how it's different. The fact that we can change the code is really important in an EOS.io platform. The fact that we have speed, you can do time-delayed permissions, which is really important. So if you do find a bug and you do see something bad that's about to happen, you have the option to change it. There's so many different ways that we can implement better technology combined with better governance. And this is why, again, I think DAOs and DACs matter so much and why I've been working with EOS DAC for a couple years now. Now I've been focused mainly on FIO lately, and it's frankly been a little discouraging as far as the pace at rolling out EOS DAC. Michael has been doing an amazing job. He's kind of a one-man shop, him and Dallas Johnson, working entirely on this on their own in many cases for months without even getting paid. So I commend them for their efforts, but it also can be, just a little bit discouraging to be like, how long does this take to get this platform launched? Now that said, not sure if I should do this or not, but I'm going to just sneak peek here the idea that we kind of have a loose launch here. So anyway, I'm going to just point that out. If you want to use this, please contact us. Come to the EOS DAC Discord, which you can get from EOS.io, and let us know if you want to build a DAC. You can find our social information down here. But join our Discord. The DAC factory is finally very close to being fully available and public. Like I said, there's kind of a soft launch, which I'm teasing out here. But if you're interested in DACs and DAOs, please come check out EOS DAC and the great work they've been doing. And I think this recent YAM thing should highlight the importance of that. If you follow the story, they're not able to update the contracts because they don't have a mechanism of governance to deal with contract bugs and issues. And I really do think blockchains are governance. That's what they are. That's why I've been involved with the IEEE Governance Standards Group and others that are working on this. Because without governance, these systems they just fall apart and they become much worse. It's like the cure becomes worse than the problem, right? We're trying to solve the problem of centralized entities, violent governments, these people, these scam artists essentially that are running the global financial system. But if we can't do better, then what's the point, right? If we can't build systems that are more efficient, more effective, then what's the point? So I think it's important to learn from our past, learn from the mistakes we've made in the past, figure out how we can build better systems, and in doing so, hopefully create a better world that we all want to live in. That's kind of the goal that I've been thinking about for a long time. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that little live stream for today, Thursday, August 13th, with some thoughts on the crypto space. Basically just going through my tweets and stuff. Hope you're having a great day, and